Let's be honest, there's a lot of AI slop out there. Bad code, hallucinations, frustrating results. But here's the thing, most of that comes down to how we wield these tools, not the tools themselves. Hate it or embrace it, AI-assisted coding, done the right way, is a superpower. Today, I'm sharing my top 10 tips for leveling up your AI-assisted coding. No hype, just what works. Let's go! Hey, Alex here from Git AI Studio. Fair warning, there are probably developers watching this video who are way better than me. But what I can share is my hard-earned lessons from building with AI these past 2 years, from frustration to it actually becoming useful, distilled into these 10 tips, battle-tested workflows that actually work. No matter what AI assistant you're using, these tips generally apply. So pick your own favorite sauce and let's get into it. Oh, and one more thing. Once you embrace these tips, and if you end up going all in, a fair warning, it can be quite a bit addictive. And you might find yourself moving from a conductor to someone orchestrating a fleet of agents, continuously tending to your agents, making sure they're never idle. Keep working all the time. And it can be costly, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, let's go. Tip 0. Embrace a pair programming mindset. Before we get to the 10 tips, here's tip 0. Maybe the most important mindset shift of all. A lot of people ask me how I use AI, and I've reflected on this and the way that we phrase it, realizing we need to stop thinking of AI as a tool and, maybe a bit cliche, start thinking of it as a coworker. Maybe a junior intern who's incredibly fast but needs guidance. I know, it's a tool, but if you use a hammer and the results are bad, you quickly end up throwing away the hammer. But if it's an intern that delivers mediocre results, you probably or hopefully won't fire them on the first try. What do? You'll give them feedback. You're more specific. You provide more context. And that's exactly how we need to approach AI. Don't expect perfect results on first try. Iterate. Give feedback. Guide it. And here's the part a lot of people miss. You can just ask the AI to help you. What context are you missing? What more information do you need to give me a better result? Turn it into a pair programmer. Ask it to explain what it's doing step by step. You have a choice. Get an answer and accept it, or instead use it to learn and engage, building knowledge together with the AI. We shouldn't become lazy just because we have these tools. We should be smart about how we collaborate. That's the foundation everything else builds on. Instead of just firing off a task to solve and then move on, we need to turn the collaboration into a continuous learning experience for us and for the AI. Every coined the term compounding engineering, and I really love this concept. Each interaction teaches your AI tools your patterns, preferences, and corrections. Over time, they generate better code with less guidance, reducing repetitive corrections. Every bug fix, code review, and pattern becomes a permanent lesson that benefits future work, preventing repeated mistakes and accelerating onboarding. So embrace that pair programming mindset. All right, let's jump into the 10 tips, starting with context. Tip number 1, context is king. LLMs have a fundamental constraint, their attention budget. Context is king, but we need to select the right context carefully. Too much, we get performance degradation. Too little, we end up with hallucinations. The LLM fills in the blanks because it's trained to please you. Context engineering is about selecting the highest impact tokens with the minimal amount of information needed to get the best result. We can be clever about guiding and injecting context, pointing the LLM in the right direction. Instead of having the agent review and explore everything every time, we can explain and summarize or point the agent in the right direction by referencing files. In Claude Code, you can use /init. It explores your entire repository and writes a summary in your claude.md file. Now every prompt has architectural context instead of navigating blindly. Even if you use a different coding agent, run /init with Claude Code, then copy that summary into whatever environment you prefer. And manage your context windows actively. Don't wait for autocomplete because then you lose control. Before your window fills up, say, let's summarize where we are, create a plan for next steps, put it in a markdown file. Then clear, new conversation, and attach the file. You control how you compact. In Claude Code, you can use the /context command, and you can use this CC usage package to show context on the status line all the time. It's really handy. Oh, and we'll get back to subagents, but a superpower you have is that each subagent in Claude Code has their own context window. So make sure you use that to your advantage. Tip number 2, rules and docs makes all the difference. This is where compound engineering kicks in. Set yourself up so that the AI becomes more proficient over time and keep building your AI's knowledge base. Being specific and sharing the known recipes helps a lot. Feed the docs. A lot of frameworks offer specific LLM-friendly docs and even rules. Use them to your advantage. They're tried and tested, for instance, writing migrations in Supabase. If you think of your claude.md or cursor.rules as something you set up once and forget, you're really missing out. In Claude Code, use the hash shortcut to add things you want Claude to remember. When you've gone through painful debugging and finally solved something, say, now we fixed it, summarize all the rabbit holes we went through so we avoid these mistakes in the future. Learn from your mistakes and teach Claude or your coding assistant to learn from its mistakes. Make this into a habit. You can also ask Claude to detect patterns and anti-patterns in your codebase. Build a library. Tip number 3, make a plan. Always make a plan. The reasoning capabilities of thinking models are at a whole new level for planning. Use that to your advantage. In Claude Code, Shift double tab puts you in plan mode. In Cursor, select plan mode explicitly. The model gets different instructions, it thinks things through, and asks clarifying questions, giving you options. I always ask the model to put that plan in a markdown file. That way, I can keep progress between sessions in this file. My favorite is to combine plan mode with ultrathink. They even made it a rainbow-colored keyword in the terminal. Add it at the end of your prompt with something like ultrathink this through before responding. It allocates a bigger thinking budget, makes the model work harder. Personally, I hate writing long descriptive specs, so I always ask the AI to help me write it out based on my rough idea. Sparring with the AI, exploring concepts in plan mode is vastly underrated in my opinion, and I think a lot of developers are missing out when it comes to planning. Here are some magic phrases that work. Make it better. It sounds silly, but it works every time. You're telling the LLM this isn't good enough, and it gets creative. It pushes the boundaries. Try it out. You can also say, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate what you just gave me? It'll almost always say 8, but you can push back and say, I disagree. This is a 6. I'm expecting 9+. You're pushing the model to try harder. When your context fills up, don't autocompact. Summarize where we are, create new steps, put it in a markdown file. Clear, new conversation, and attach the file. Now you can continue where you left off, and you're in control. Don't be afraid of markdown files. Make an AI docs folder. If you're worried about coworkers seeing it, you can add it to Git Ignore. Keep your own little AI knowledge base. That's completely fine. Tip number 4, break it down. Maybe this is common sense, but it's critical when you work with AI. Break tasks into smaller pieces. Here's a power workflow that I love. GitHub issues. When you've done your plan and want to break it into 10 features, ask your coding assistant to create issues in GitHub for each task. This approach you can also use with something like linear or even just a markdown file as well. Mid-conversation, when the AI suggests we could also do this or this or this, sometimes that's distracting, but sometimes they're great ideas. So just not now. Say, great suggestions, add them to GitHub issues for me to review later. And now let's focus on the current task. It'll elaborate, follow your template, manage your roadmap for you. We actually did a whole video about this power workflow here. So just a quick tip, the GitHub MCP has something like 40 tools, and that's a lot of context overhead. For Claude Code, I've found that the GitHub CLI is more efficient. Same power, less context hungry. Or if you're using Opus 4.5, we now have the ability to defer loading of tools, which is an awesome way to manage context for MCPs and other tools. Tip number 5, pick the right model. There's so many choices now. It's habitual to stick with what you know, but keep an open mind. Try different models occasionally. You can fork tasks, run the same prompt with multiple models, compare results, pick what you like best. It's worth trying out for novel or complex features. You can think about it simply like this. If it's a complex task, choose one of the best models. If it's a quick trivial task, maybe that's overkill, go with a cheaper, faster model. Don't waste expensive tokens on simple stuff. Cursor just recently dropped their own model called Composer, and quality-wise, it's perfectly fine. It's not on par with Opus 4.5, but the speed is insane. It makes you realize how slow Claude Code can feel at times. Then again, Opus 4.5 is a beast. Pick your sauce, but no need for max models on simple tasks. Be clever about model selection. And when you need maximum quality, ultrathink. Just use it. It's insanely good. Tip number 6, use the tools. Slash commands, subagents, these tools are powerful. Learn to use them with your AI coding assistant. Let's start with slash commands. The built-in ones are handy, but the power is really creating your own slash commands. Anything repetitive, invest time in a slash command. It's a reusable prompt template with arguments. Here's a power tip for you. You can actually execute bash commands inside slash commands. Put an exclamation mark before the command. This means you can gather information before running the task, run git commands to get context, then generate a smart commit message. A lot of people don't know about this feature. You can also tell your AI agent when to use slash commands. In your claude.md file, for instance, run write unit tests when you're about to start writing tests. And then you can inject your recipe. All right, subagents. Currently, this is only available in Claude Code, but the key difference is that they have their own context window. You can even say use subagents for this mid-conversation without defining one. It wraps the task into a standalone process. Why is that useful? Let's say you have a folder with 50 documents that you want to process. Go through all of them, summarize each one. Use a subagent for each document. It parallelizes 50 parallel files without bloating one context window. Create reusable subagents. Architect, code reviewer, optimizer, and then you can even chain them together. First use code analyzer, then optimizer on the results. Then we also have hooks. Really powerful ways of controlling what happens before or after turns, a way for us to add guardrails, but also clever automations. You can, for instance, send a Slack message every time Claude Code sends a notification and is asking for your input while you're off getting your coffee or whatever. Or you can use it to prevent tool calls if certain criteria is met. Definitely worth checking out hooks. And lastly, we have skills. One of my favorites and really underrated by many. Anthropic found this brilliant way to manage context through progressive disclosure. Claude reads only the front matter of a skill initially and goes deeper only when relevant. Check out my dedicated video on skills if you want to deep dive. Tip number 7. Git everything and learn from your rabbit holes. Source control is obviously important, but it's essential when we work with AI agents. Use checkpoints. Both Cursor and Claude Code have rewind options available. So go back to when things were working before the spiral started. Use branches for experimental stuff. Maybe that's standard best practice, but it's just more important now. Okay, let's talk about rabbit holes. When you finally solve something painful, don't just move on. Say, summarize all the mistakes we made, document the root cause and solution, put it in our patterns folder, so that I never have to go through these issues ever again. This is really the essence of compounding engineering. This is how it works. You're building institutional knowledge that makes every future session better. Tip number 8, level up with MCPs. Model Context Protocol. MCPs aren't just for enriching context anymore. They give your agents arms to perform actions. But be selective. Don't turn everything on. Working on database stuff, turn on the database MCP. Not touching the database, turn it off. Context space is precious. Anthropic have a really clever approach to managing context and tool calling with Opus 4.5. Check out their blog post about this in the description below. So here's some of my favorite MCP servers. Context 7 for documentation enrichment, Figma if you're doing design and front-end work, and Chrome DevTools. This MCP is really powerful. In Cursor, you have a built-in browser now. You can connect it to your own browser, run through tests, get feedback, and you have the same functionality in anti-gravity. Don't forget, you can feed screenshots to AI agents. Draw on them, circle something, say change this. Way faster than just describing it with words. And you can of course also talk. Use something like Super Whisper or something similar. In Cursor, we have a built-in functionality for this. Speaking is often faster than typing. Tip number 9, release the agents. Here's where it gets really interesting. Combine GitHub issues with agents. Tell Claude Code or Cursor, fix issue number 3. It uses the GitHub CLI, pulls the issue description as context, spins up an agent in a sandbox, solves it, creates a branch, opens a pull request for your review. That's how you go from 1 agent to 10 or more, depending on your budget and your cognitive ability to handle many parallel tasks. I think we are going to be the choking point in this equation. You can be drinking coffee, watching multiple agents work in parallel. It's wild. It's actually very addictive, and a fair warning, it can get expensive if you're running 10 agents in parallel. But this is where we're heading. Get comfortable with that orchestrator role. There's a full video on this power workflow in the comments below. Tip number 10, be the human in the loop. Don't just trust what comes out, but also embrace it smartly. Remember the pair programming mindset. Don't just accept results, ask the AI to explain what it did. Use your knowledge, expand your knowledge together. You're the orchestrator now. Your value is your taste, your opinion, your style, your domain knowledge. That's what turns generic AI slop into something valuable, something that resonates with what you would have built yourself. Guide it, give feedback, be specific, be the human in the loop. And there you have it. Those are my 10 tips, plus tip 0, which might be the most important one. Let's do a quick recap. Tip 0, embrace a pair programming mindset. Tip number 1, context is king. Tip number 2, rules and docs make all the difference. Tip number 3, make a plan. Always make a plan. Tip number 4, break it down into smaller pieces. Tip number 5, pick the right model for the job. And tip number 6, use the tools, Luke. Tip number 7, Git everything and learn from your rabbit holes. Tip number 8, level up with MCPs. Tip number 9, release the agents. And tip number 10, be the human in the loop. The models we use today are the worst we'll use for the rest of our lives. The pace of improvement is incredible. If you haven't fully embraced AI-assisted coding yet, now's the time. Drop a comment with your favorite tip, or if you have a great tip to share with the community. Hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one.